One of these days, I'm still going to fade out that ending. But, and I start every video with Gemma just like this. Okay, so Gemma's away, and today I'm going to play because I've been chatting with my friend Chris. Actually, I got to ask him how he pronounces his last name. I think it's Chris Weiher, Cleaver Creative, I've gotten to know Chris for about a year and a half, I suppose, and we talked about all sorts of things. But for today, Chris is helping me with some video and other marketing initiatives that we have going on for Rockstar Bingo. And I wanted to make sure that he has a full, clear idea of how the platform works, the background behind it. And it just kind of made sense to just kind of record it. And, if this sucks, I'll delete it. And if it's useful, we'll keep it out there, which is probably what everyone says on every podcast about whether they're going to edit it or not. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Chris, who is here to help me with storytelling around Rockstar Bingo. Morning, Chris.
Hello. We're here.
We're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why don't you tell maybe just start off, because really we're going to just really rattle on about the product, and it'd probably be me talking versus me interviewing, which is usually how I prefer to do this. But so this is your chance to say who you are and what you do, man.
Yeah. So I am the owner of Cleaver Creative, as you said. We make videos. I think some pretty awesome videos. You and I have made some videos. Yeah, I am a video person, and that's what I excel in and like to do. And that's animation videos and explainer videos and product videos and B2B videos and LinkedIn videos and all kinds of stuff like that. And I also have had the good fortune to be able to travel around for the past going on a year now. I'm in Mexico City right now. Gonna go to Europe. We got to talk about Europe too, because I just booked my travel plans there. So we got to meet up there if you're going to go. But yeah, otherwise, just enjoying to working together and looking forward to learning more about Rockstar Bingo, so we can do some cool video stuff with that.
Right on. Yeah, Europe, man. We should talk about that. Actually, my wife and I are gonna probably make some plans this weekend. We've got rough dates. We know roughly where we're going, and then that's it. So
excellent. Well, I just booked my first stay in Croatia, so if you're thinking about that area, that'd be pretty cool.
Croatia wasn't on our list. We had a family chat and discussed all the various things we were going to do. Croatia did not make that list, but that would be an interesting place. But
okay.
Cool. Well, I have a meeting with Nicole in half an hour, so we're going to plow through this quickly.
Okay.
Actually, is that accurate, or is that 11:30? Let me just check that. Yeah, it's 11. So, oh, look at that. There's my my calendar right there.
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah, this is using the Reflector app, which I use all the time for just actually like showing my phone on a screen and demos and stuff. So you ever used it? It's like $29. Money well spent. Mm-hmm. So we'll use that a bit when we talk about this. So actually, I'll chop that off the screen here for a second. So Chris, what I thought I would do is just talk a little bit about Rockstar Bingo and the various ways that people can use it and acquire it, and then we'll kind of pick up from there and dig into the nitty-gritty. So first and foremost, the product itself is called Rockstar Bingo. It is a music bingo platform to empower hosts to deliver fun in bars, venues, or anywhere really. There's speakers and folks with a short attention span, because this is, music bingo is not about playing a song at length. It's 20 to 30 seconds. It's just long enough that you get the hook, people get excited, and then you take it away from them and you move on, and that's half the fun. So here in Victoria, Music Bingo has been around since the 90s. And certainly as we've built this platform and grown our base, it's pretty interesting because Victoria, Ireland, Australia, and Illinois, but not Chicago, are the sort of hot areas we found for Music Bingo. And then everywhere else, no one's ever heard of it. So it's pretty interesting how it's spread over the years. But, the idea is just like numbered bingo, under the B, 3, under the I, whatever, it's under the B, Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. And so people are kind of waiting and watching to hear the hook, and then they play along. And a big part of this is the host. The host is there to entertain. The host is there to make it fun. Different hosts take different strategies. Some of the strategies are, no cheating. Don't even play the chorus. You need to. It's almost more like I can name that tune in 5 seconds. Some do that approach, whereas others are like, nope, the chorus is the main hook. Everyone's singing along. People are allowed to use Shazam. We have a feature called the Jumbotron where an option is to show the last 3 songs. So if you missed it, you can still dab your card. Because, if you think of a regular music bingo parlor, it's not like someone will tell you, oh, the number 6 didn't show. So it's interesting. I can go very deep on prizing for music bingo as well, because if you allow cheating, don't have good prizes, because people will get upset that they feel like they're cheated. But if the prize is a Budweiser trucker cap, nobody really cares if they win or not. Everyone just wants to win. And the best prize we have at our show, Rockstar Nights, which is where Rockstar Bingo was created. Like, we built this app for our show, and then since then it's turned into a platform that lots of people are using. Our number one popular prize is a bag of air guitar strings. So it's basically a Ziploc bag with a piece of paper on the top and our logo, and it's just an empty bag that people win. And then we went further and put a sticker on it that says, and now includes 4 bonus air guitar picks. And so it's, and that's totally stolen. I don't know if you remember the Pet Rock was a big thing, but there's another guy that actually created Captain Invisible, and it was a doll you could buy from eBay. And so it was basically an empty box, like a box with like the shape of where a character would be. And it was Captain Invisible. And then on it, it said, and now comes with Kung Fu Grip, which, again, so totally stolen, totally awesome. So back to Rockstar Bingo. So on the home screen of our site, we sort of explain what it is and the different plans. But really, at the end of the day, we have a free subscription, a premium, and a pro. So free is really just a sampler, or if you're a small group of friends hanging out at a campfire or something, you can actually play the game, but it's a maximum of 6 players. So it's really just a teaser, a tester, and 4 small groups. We move up to premium, where it's $4.99 a month or $29 a year. And the whole idea is this is for groups of 30. This is a great way for a pub to get started and just kind of take it for a spin. Less of the overall pro hosting features, but certainly enough to just get started. We find a lot of people are just signing up for the year one because it's half the price of going monthly, but that's usually how these pricing works. What we're most excited about and what we're here to do is provide people with this pro license, which is based on number of players. So it's not number of players per game, it's number of players per month. So if you have a venue that has 50 chairs in it, you probably want to buy a 50-player plan, and you can play as many games as you want in that month as you want, all day, every day, 2 days a week, whatever you want. The only thing you can't do is play 2 games simultaneously. So we get that request a lot, like, I want to run this in 2 different bars and have one price. Well, you need to sign up for 2 accounts. Now, that's not us trying to be difficult. It's that the complexities around running that is just not there. And you're also now not really serving your audience as a host. You're just trying to save a buck. And that's not what we're about. So that's our 3 plans. As far as the app and game is concerned, our app is a progressive web app, or PWA. So that means there's no app to download from the App Store. When old Martha comes to your venue and she's 80 and can't remember her iTunes password, we don't care. We're just basically loading a web page, and it feels like an app. And we definitely borrow the concept from Jackbox games, which, if you ever played that, you've got your screen, and then you're using the game controller that's in your pocket or purse, your smartphone. So you're really just going to Rockstar.Bingo, you click join, and there's a code to enter, and you're off to the races and you're playing the game. So we keep that really, really simple. We've kept it friction-free. This whole point, that's one of my favorite terms, friction-free, which really just means I'm not going to make you log in. I'm not going to send you emails. Like, just play the game, enjoy it. The subscription is for the host, not for the players. Once you're logged in, and we're in the pro stuff here, so I'll sort of point out where pro and premium and free intertwine. But if you're just using the free account, you have access to these 8 playlists that we provide you with, and that's really all you're playing with. You're not going to customize or anything. It's a sampler. Premium and pro includes the ability to slurp in all of your Spotify playlists that are 75 songs or larger. So that's key. If you have a playlist that has 74 songs or 26 songs, we're not even going to show it. And that's because bingo, the bingo math is actually 75. So if you were to play at a bingo parlor, it's under the B 1 through 15, under the I 16 through 30. It's how it works. And so it doesn't matter how many cards, variations you give out, we're only going to play up to 75 numbers or 75 songs. So that's what we're looking for is Spotify playlists that have 75 songs or more. So you can create as many playlists you want. We've got 20 or 30 that we've created that are easy for people to do, but like there's tens of thousands of playlists out there. So you could do just about anything you want. So if you were to generate a game, just a playlist, and I'll start a game here in a second. You just basically choosing which playlist you're going to generate the game from. If that playlist has 300 songs in it, we're going to randomly grab 75 songs from that playlist and build those cards. So you could definitely have playlists that are larger, but the main thing is that there's 75 is the minimum. And when a game starts, we are either going to randomly grab one, or you can create custom playlists where you're actually defining now an order. And this is really popular with hosts, where someone has dialed in their favorite 80s playlist and they want to start, with a couple of songs. And you can go back and edit these playlists later and be like, well, I don't want to always be known as the guy that starts every show with Santeria by Sublime. I like that song, I'll sneak it in later, but you're able to change your sort order, but you're kind of building the perfect playlists. So I think what I'll do is show you a bit of the editing process for custom playlists, because I think this is a key feature. So I could either create one, and when I go to create it, I'm importing from Spotify or from a spreadsheet. There is a big difference between the two. Importing for Spotify means we're pulling in the Spotify ID of the song, which means we have a lot of information about that song. We know we can grab its lyrics, we can grab what key signature it's in, what tempo it's in. Some hosts will actually just import a spreadsheet, which is cool, but now it's just title and artist. So we can't extract and do more information, do more things with that in the future. So definitely, I find that even if you're not going to use Spotify for playback at your shows, using it to manage your stuff for the $6 a month is well worth your time. But once something's been imported, so for example, we did a show last night, my band did it, where we're the music. We're not using Spotify, it's real musicians playing real music. We had this fantastic guy, Tom, last night, who's played piano or keyboard for us last night. And so we actually built a custom game last night, making sure that it was songs that he knew, right? You don't want to just go, surprise, you're supposed to know every song ever written. So he gave us his list of 75 songs that he was comfortable with. And then we created a Spotify playlist around it, and then we just slurp it in and we're ready to go. So last night when we played game one or card one, we started with Jump and then moved on to Superstition. And, every song we play for 20 to 40 seconds. Even last night, we had a running joke that, it's like band 3, song ending 0. And so it was like, you basically got a point if we found a successful way to transition out of the song. Sometimes you just like, so things I'll talk about here, and then again, we'll do a game and you'll see the stuff in action, but just to maybe explain it. So in this case, we maintained the playlist order. So we wanted this show to be in this order. And that, as a keyboard player, he has patches and stuff, so he wants to have these called up. If you're using Spotify, it's more like, no, I want to start with these 3 songs because that'll get the crowd hyped. But you can actually turn that off. So we could actually just be like, I'm comfortable with all these songs. I still want it random, but I want the perfect playlist. So that we give that option at the top. Then we've introduced this thing called the Jumbotron recently, which is one of the most exciting things, I think. So I'll explain what you're seeing here. Well, actually, I'll explain Jumbotron first. Jumbotron is the ability to send a web page to another screen that shows, like for a background for people to have. So when people are using Zoom or OBS, this might be the thing to run in the background. But if you're at a live show, it's what you're putting on all the TVs in the bar. Or for us, it's like on this massive 16-foot wide TV behind us, which is really effective. So on that screen, we can put a background video. So we've got a YouTube. I just go on YouTube and look for party backgrounds. And so it's hilarious because sometimes whatever is the goofy background actually lines up with what we're playing. And other times it's just really trippy stuff. Like I can always tell when something's funny is going on or like something's really interesting because the crowd, their faces just change. Like last night, there was a point where it was like these sort of LSD kind of cats, where these cats are running across the screen, and then they would turn into 8 cats and skitter off the screen and stuff. And people are like, "What is going on?" So that would be the default video. But we actually added a feature, and actually, so people watching, if they watch this, we just introduced this on Tuesday, and we haven't even announced it yet, but the pre-game video. So even as you're starting the game, we've now got the ability to have a video play that's looping in the background. That might be the instructions for your night or show, or your marketing, or your branding, or your advertising. So in ours, we put like, stay tuned. We're going to start in about 10 minutes. Make sure you scan the QR code on your on your table. Make sure you hang out and can you sing it better? Like, this is a concept we have. So those are kind of there's the default video, which is if you don't specify a video per song, that's the one that plays in the background. The pre-game video is before the game starts, so kind of instructions. And then within each song here, if I click on Jump by Van Halen, we can actually change the titles if we want, artists. Not often that you would do that. We did introduce a feature a long time ago called song sanitization, which is we clean up your playlists for you as best we can. So I don't know if you've noticed, but on Spotify, if you were to look for Obla Di, Obla Da by the Beatles, you'll actually find it like 35, 40 times. And it'll be Obla Di, Obla Da, remastered 1977, Obla Di, Obla Da, live, at wherever, Chicago. We pull that stuff out so your cards look nice and tidy. You could actually come in here and change it even more. You can actually set a video for every single song as well. I only did it for the first song of the night. I wouldn't want to come in here and do that for 75 songs. I'm quite happy having a default party play. But some bingo hosts that are built the perfect 80s playlist probably want a video per song, just so that like the whole experience is immersive. I could definitely see that for your typical pub venue host doing that. The other thing too, because we built it selfishly initially for my band, we actually grabbed the tempo and the key from Spotify, but allow you to override it. So it's like, oh, no, we don't do this in C. We actually do it in, D sharp or whatever. So we can actually remember that. And so when you bring on your guest musicians, they can actually go, what are we doing this in? So actually last night, Tom didn't notice that feature is there. So he kept going like, is this in E? Kept trying to like draw an E with his fingers in the air and stuff. So I apparently didn't introduce this feature to him in time last night. But so these are all the songs, and I can change the order, right? It'd be like, I want this one to be second or whatever. And then when I'm done, I can save it. And that game is now ready, right? So it's all there. So we'll start a game here in a second, and then we'll see all these features in action. But just a couple other things. One, game history we added, so we can actually see all the games that have been previously played, who won. We can actually see their previous game cards. Like we actually provide all this history forever for hosts, and so that's actually proven to be useful later for hosts that are just kind of trying to figure out how popular things are. And then finally, in our settings, you can manage your subscription. You can switch between dark and light mode because everybody cares about that. I'm more of a light mode myself, but and then you got two features here. One, your branding settings. So you can't really see it because it's white on dark, but basically this is the Rockstar Nights logo that would appear on people's phones, and then a call to action button. So that would be, like maybe drink specials tonight, more information. So a little bit of branding that you can throw on people's devices. And then the last piece, and this is pro only as well, is your custom join screen. So when you're running an event, most bars, when they start out, just send people to Rockstar Bingo, tell them to click on the join button, and then you enter in a code like Jackbox. What we've done is created the ability for a custom URL for every single pro host, where they can grab a URL and it's theirs. Kind of like buying a domain name, but you're just holding that domain name. And so what everybody's doing now is making a QR code of that URL, so that on every table you just go boop and it takes you right to your game. You don't even have to do this formality of the four character code. So I think that's a pretty slick feature to just make it really light and seamless, right? So we've got that going on. Okay, so let's play a game. We're gonna fire up game card 1. So I'll show you the hosting experience. But basically I come in here and I go, okay, I want to play set. You can see it's in the order I set because that little tick box, but I could have randomly done it. And if it's random, then it would have just randomly picked 75 out of the 150 songs that Tom told us he was comfortable with. Okay. So I'm going to create a game. This next screen, is what most people use if they're using Spotify, which is I want to use Spotify for playback. So when we're playing the game, I want when I hit the next button that it just comes out of the speaker of my Spotify system, right? So I've got Spotify running here. If I was doing a Zoom meeting, I would be sending that audio out. If I'm at a venue, I'm plugging an audio jack into my laptop and playing that playback. We as a band choose no because we are the music. But there are lots of hosts that are like, no, man, I want to custom groom my songs. I want to have the start fade in and the song fade out. Or we have a host that's using records, right? He wants to use records and stuff. So cool, use records, man. So at that point, we just become the mechanism for creating game cards and the game experience. And you are like, oh, next song is Superstition. Go look at my Apple iTunes and pull up Superstition and play it. Because there's a couple of things that we can't do for people with Spotify. We can specify a start position if you want, and there's some work, like you can go in and specify the start position. We can't specify an end position. There's no API endpoint for that from Spotify. We also can't fade the song in and fade it out nicely like a pro host would. Spotify doesn't give you that. So if you really want to kind of like be in control, you probably want to play the music from your own source and then just use us as a game broadcast platform. But in this case, I'm going to go with yes, just because this is the typical experience for a lot of people. So now you're just picking which Spotify device you want to play on. So this is my computer here, which this reminds me, I just rebuilt it the other day, so I need to rename it because that's really random. But that is referencing this Spotify device here. Sometimes when I load this, I have like 6 devices, right? Because I have Spotify in my Tesla. And so that actually, my wife really doesn't like when I do that because I will like start broadcasting the game to the car while she's driving. Not a fan. So now I'm in ready to start the game. So this is the sort of final screens here, right? This is the game code if you want to give out a game code because the game code still exists, right? This is the standard URL, but we have that custom URL. I'm on a 500 player subscription, so I have 500 slots remaining because nobody's joined the game yet, and nobody is waiting in the lobby yet. So this is where we're going to do this part of the experience. So what I want you to do is go to rockstar.bingo.
Okay, 1 second.
And I'm going to do the same thing. And when you're ready, the code is VKTK.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull, Reflector went to sleep, as it does, because it does that after about 10 minutes. But I will show on my phone here as well what I see.
VKTK.
Yeah.
Waiting in the lobby.
Okay. So, and here's my phone. So this is, folks won't see your phone, but I'm having sort of a similar experience here, right? So this is me. This is my phone. I'm waiting in the lobby. I can see you're in the lobby. I can see I'm in the lobby. I can admit individuals or I can just admit all. So now I've moved from being in the lobby to I'm in. Sit tight. The host will start the game. There's my logo. There's that call to action button that I was talking about. And I can actually see your cards even before you can. So you will have little wing under the O on your card, right? So a couple of things about the lobby. I can actually kick you out. So I'm going to kick myself out just to show what that's like. Are you sure you want to kick Sean out? And so you've been removed, so you'll have to sit this one out. I can re-invite myself back in, though. So this is for, drunk Steve who keeps hitting call bingo every 5 seconds. And you're like, dude, and you can't find him in a room of 150 people. You can kick drunk Steve out, right? Because drunk Steve is ruining the fun for everybody else. Okay, so we're in. So a couple things. Remember I talked about the Jumbotron link. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to copy that to a different browser. So the idea is I would be sending this screen to the screens in my venue or maybe to my OBS broadcast. So we call this the meerkat screen because we have basically these meerkats sitting there hanging tight. So this is running in the background behind us while we're getting a drink, going to the washroom before I start our show. But this is a great opportunity for hosts to share instructions, the concept of the show, details about specials, whatever. So that's running in the background. The other thing we have, and this is was initially created just like selfishly for the band, but it's turning out to be one of the coolest features, which is the sidekick link. So you're the host playing the game, but your sidekicks can see this information, which is the list of songs, so we can see what's coming. So if you have some, imagine like you're at a sports broadcast, you've got the person doing like talking about the plays, and then you got the color guy, right? So you could have a color person that's adding stuff. So in here, again, you can switch from dark to light. We can show the beats per minute, the key, info about the song, and the Spotify playlist track. So as musicians, this is useful too, because I can see the next song coming is Burning Down the House. So I'm already setting my metronome on my phone while I'm playing the previous song, just so that I'm not wasting any time, right? That's useful for me. The band can see what key signature it's in, and the Spotify link we added recently, which is it takes you right to that track, because as a band, sometimes I'll be like, holy shit, how does this go again? And I'll just like quickly like be listening on my phone. So we're a little chaotic when we do this. So the key thing is for most songs, it actually will show you the lyrics as well. So we don't need to remember lyrics, which would be especially hard because our playlist has over 500 tracks. That's a lot of lyrics. And so, but we're actually adding a feature in the next week or so here. We're going to give you a full screen button so you can show the lyrics just on the screen. And that's because at our show, we do this concept called Can You Sing It Better, which is come up and sing the song, And so it's kind of like karaoke with a live band. Well, why wouldn't you do that at a bingo hall where they're using Spotify? Come up and sing along with it if you want. And here's the lyrics on the screen. So that's kind of a cool feature that I think that I'm pretty proud of. So that's your Sidekicks link. That's your Jumbotron link. And then the rest are the settings that you might make for the game that you're playing. So one of the options is collecting winner contact details. So if someone calls bingo and they're confirmed as a winner, you can actually get their phone number, their email, and their name. If you're in a live venue, you probably don't need that. The person's going to walk up to the stage and get their trucker cap. But if you're doing this remotely, or if you're doing this via radio or at a large event, you're probably going to need to get their contact details. You can also define custom branding settings for the game. So you might want to override your global defaults. I don't find we do that very often, but it's an option. One of the new things we added too, which I think is actually possibly the biggest but most subtlest feature, is you can disable bingo verification. So the default is we will validate the bingo card for you. If someone calls bingo, you say, confirm or deny, and it basically looks at their cards and goes, yes, it's right or wrong. But last night, we were running long and we wanted to get the hell out of there. So I could tell that Working for the Weekend by Loverboy was going to get someone a bingo and we wanted to go home. So I switched to manual bingo verification and we jumped ahead 4 songs because we're all pooped. We played the song. The lady won. She was a regular. She's been out for week after week after week and never won. So it's like she felt good, we felt good, and we got to go home. So when you disable bingo verification, the one thing you lose right now, and we're actually going to reintroduce it in the future, is you would lose the ability to set your targets because you are truly manually verifying. So a typical game, most hosts start with one line for the first winner and then keep playing the game and then maybe switch to 2 lines, then switch to 3, right? So you can keep using that same playlist until you run through all your 75 songs and do all these different targets. I will say that one line is anywhere from, say, 28 to 35 songs it takes to get one line. But it's like there's no rhyme or reason how long a bingo game will take. How many people are there, how long you play the song, how much you talk, how lucky the person is. I mean, we had someone get bingo in 6 songs once. And we're like, dude, you got to go buy a lottery ticket because there are people that have actually written theses on bingo and how long it takes to win, and 6 is very rare. So 1 line, 2 lines. What's interesting is 4 corners, edges, X shape, and full card. Doesn't matter how many people you have, you're playing about 72 to 74 songs for anyone to get that, because 4 corners is as hard to get as the whole card, basically. So people think, oh, this will be a quick game, only 4. No, it's not. It's going to be a very long game. So start with 1 line and then maybe change the target after you've had a winner and then keep going. So coming back down to these features, We have the scoreboard feature that we used to have on as a default. We've turned it off because we're finding people don't really care about that. Usually if you're only playing 3-4 games in a night, you don't need a scoreboard for how many people have won. But if you were to do this over a day or something, maybe you'd want it. On the Jumbotron screen, which is this guy again here, once the game starts, there's the ability now. This is a brand new feature that I'm basically announcing right here, which is, where'd it go? No, I'm jumping ahead. Bingo verification, scoreboard. Oh, enable previous songs. So here, in the bottom left-hand corner, once we start playing, we'll list the 3 most recently played songs. So when I had talked about how advanced the game is, you can actually turn that off so that you're like, no, I don't want to show that. We also will show the current letter on the screen. That's brand new too. And then finally, if you want a more advanced game, we can actually hide the artist. So under the B, it would just say Living on a Prayer. It wouldn't say Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi. Because some people will recognize a song based on, oh, I can tell that's 21 Pilots, but I don't know which song that is. So if you want to go more advanced, you can turn that off. And all these settings, by the way, can be done real time. So in the middle of the game, you can be like, I don't want to show the letter anymore. So I'm going to start the game. And so a couple of things. One, this screen is going to change. The Jumbotron is going to switch to starting the game. The sidekick screen will be basically saying, okay, this is the song we're on. And then on your phone, which I'm sure my phone went to sleep again yet, so I'll just fire that up while I'm talking here. We'll now play the game, and you can see it real time here. So I'm going to start the game. On your phone, you're going to probably see that the game has started. You've got your bingo song selections on there. And once my phone is back here, I gotta look in Reflector to see if there's a longer timeout because it takes way too long. Okay, so here we are. Here's my phone. You can see that the target I've set right now is 1 line. Again, I can change this. So some people will say, like, do I have to start a new game every time I want to do a different row? No, you can do 1 row, hand out your Budweiser trucker cap, and then switch to 2 rows and keep the game going. And you can decide whether the person that got 1 row can keep playing or not. Clearly, odds are more in their favor. That it's not always the person that gets the first row that wins the next one. In fact, that's still rare, but it does happen more than not because they've already had one of the 2 criteria, right? So here we are. We're playing on Jump. I actually set, if you recall, I set Jump as a video background, so the screen did that. So those hosts that want to set a video for background of everything and make the perfect playlist, they can do it. You can see the current letter is the letter I. And so I'm not going to play the music on here because I think that'll just cause noise. But that first song was Under the Eye was Jump. So I'm going to take a look on my screen. I don't have it. I don't know if you had it, but I can actually look. If I go look in the lobby here, and by the way, with the lobby, people can keep joining as the game progresses. So you don't have to like be in the game, and once you don't get in, you're not in. You can actually keep playing. So looking at your screen, you don't have Jump either. So I'm just going to keep pushing ahead here. I'm going to move to the next one. So now we're on Burning Down the House. Again, on the sidekick screen, it's indicating the band. It's put the lyrics up there. On the Jumbotron, we've now gone to our default background video. Oh. Pause that. And then, and so here we are here. So again, on my phone, do I have Burning Down the House under the G? I do. So I've just dabbed that. And I don't know if you do. We'll take a look at yours. No, you don't. So, but a couple of things. If you want to look here while we're on the lobby screen, Chris, if you were to select a couple of songs on yours, like maybe just dab a few letters there, and you can see that real time, I can actually see your choices there on the screen, and I can tell whether you got them right or wrong. So I know that we haven't played Before He Cheats. It's red, right? And if I deselect Burning Down the House in mine, you can see there's a little gray icon, which basically is telling me that that person has missed it, right? So I can be like, nope, 3 wrongs. I've got 1 right, or I'm missing the 1, or whatever. So we give all that feedback to the host as well, which I think is pretty cool. So I think what we'll do is we'll power through a couple songs here. Now, Spotify really doesn't like when you do this, where you give it less than a second to play a song. So it might start complaining, but we'll just zip through a bunch of songs here. Get up to about 20 songs or so. Yeah, see, Spotify doesn't like that. Yes, Spotify. I'm sorry. Nobody would run a game like that. This is purely demo behavior. Okay, so we're up to song 12. Pause it. I'll take a look at those screens again. So you have 2 songs that are accurate, and I'm actually got a better card than you so far. So under the I, Running Down a Dream, and under the G, White Wedding on yours.
Heyo.
So a couple things. Again, showing my card and thinking about the settings of this game. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to, for briefly, just show, I'm going to turn off Enable Current Letter. So you can see that's the current letter. If I turn that off, oops, and click Done, it's like we can make these changes real time, right? So that's one of the things we can do. And the other one I want to do is show hide artist. So here we are on the phone. You can see I've got the song and the artist. If I hide the artist and click Done, sure enough, my cards are tidier and a little more advanced.
Real quick, when you say enable current letter, if it's, let's say in mine, obla di obla da is B1, is that, if everybody has that, is that showing up in B1 for everybody? Or that could be anywhere? I don't understand the current letter bit.
That's just for the Jumbotron. So it's basically screens at a venue.
Oh, is it showing? I don't understand. Like, is that showing like that the furthest person along in the game should have BIN at this point? What's current letter? I don't understand that.
So when you're playing bingo, the song that's playing right now is under the what? Is under the B. So just like when you're in bingo parlor, yeah. Oh, sorry.
For everybody, it's going to be in B.
Podcast late for meeting. This is how I roll. But I'm enjoying this, so we're gonna just keep going. Right. So we're currently under the B, right? And like typically at a music bingo game, the host is like, "This next song's under the B," and like it's part of the performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that setting is whether we're showing it on the screen to help people, And the other thing we do, and that's actually one of the feature I didn't show you, is we can turn off current column highlighting. So on your phone right now, you'll see that the B column has this, it's highlighted. I can actually turn that off. And the reason you might turn that off is, again, it's slightly more advanced. You don't tell the players where it is. But the other way where that's valuable, again, it was totally selfish, is when we used to push to Twitch, the band would be 20 seconds ahead of the game because the Twitch feed has this delay. So it would show as the song be under the I, but we'd already moved on to the O. So we have the ability to sort of turn that on and off as well.
Okay.
So why don't we do this? I know you're not going to get a bingo, so why don't you call bingo?
Bingo. Are you sure I want to call bingo? Yes.
Yeah. So you can see, and right now we've got automatic verification. So with automatic verification, when I verify it, it's just going to be like, nope, you're denied. Right? So Chris's bingo is denied. It's done. Now I can override that, and I could do that real time. So I could be like, you know what? I want to verify it. So I'm going to show you the difference. Go ahead and call bingo again. Let's just pretend that we've done 3 more songs.
Bingo.
Now when I verify it, you tap any selected squares to mark them correct. So I can go, yep, you got this one. Actually, what was it? Yeah, these one. And so the songs have to play. Like we didn't do Heartbreakers. We can't select that right now. But I can actually just say, you know what? Yeah, you got a bingo. Now, there's a couple of scenarios here where this is really interesting and useful. One is you want to give away more prizes. So you could say, you know what? The person has Cake by the Ocean, or the next song, Cake by the Ocean. If you've got it, the first one to click call bingo, I'll give you a free chocolate bar. Well, we could do that. So that would be a manual verification. Another one is, God, I got to go home. I just want to, move on. I'll just make them win, which happens. But also there's other scenarios where I want the first person to get 3 songs anywhere on the card. I've got extra prizes. That would be a scenario. So I can now deny you again, or I can confirm it. So I'm going to confirm it. And this is the experience. Everybody sees the confetti, but you get the confetti. And so Chris Bingo confirmed. And so now the decision is it time to go home? Is it time to keep playing? Is it time to start a whole new game? Maybe this was the classic 80s playlist, and now we want to move on to the 90s, or we don't. If we don't want to move on to the 80s, we want to keep playing, what I would probably do is go here and say, okay, guys, we're now playing. Oops, because I turned on manual verification, turn that off. Because I turned that off, I could actually go, okay, now we're going to play for 2 lines. I'm going to push that to everybody. And now you'll see on my screen. Oh, my phone just locked, of course. Well, it was there for a second, but yeah, there it is. You can see that the target has changed to 2 lines, and off we go. We keep playing. So that's really it. Like, we would just keep playing this game. The host would either, again, play 1 row, then 2 rows, then 3, or whatever. Or you would finish the game, which I'll do now. And when I finish the game, my device goes, great, it's over. You want to leave, I can leave the game. It takes you back to your main screen. And they're kind of waiting for the next game to start. At this point, I might launch a Yacht Rock game or something like that. On the Jumbotron, we've got this sort of thanks, game over, thanks for playing screen. And yeah, the game is ended on the sidekick. So that's it in a nutshell. Most of the features you saw there at the end are all pro, because these are the hosts that we're truly trying to empower. These people are providing fun music bingo experiences for their fans at their venue. So, yeah. Yeah, so really, like I pretty much called it, which was me rambling and talking about this thing. But do you have any questions about it? What, from a helping with marketing and storytelling, with all that information?
I've got a ton of notes. I don't know if we're going to want to do them all in this podcast, but I've got a lot of thoughts. One question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that was all I was going to ask. Is actually, can you take us back into the game? If you turn your phone sideways, does it reorient properly?
I've never done that. It does, actually. It did. It shows. Well, that's a very good question. Because most people, when they're holding their phone for this format.
Right. It does make sense. Most people are going to hold their phone naturally, but I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I have never thought about that question. Knowing Matt, that's going to be fine, but let's do it. So if you go to join a game, the code is CPRY. That's kind of sad. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm 99.9% sure of how it will be, but let's confirm that. So here it is on my screen. I'm going to show my screen landscape so you can see it's there. Obviously, a bit of scrolling because of the space. But then I'm going to start the game by letting myself into the lobby. Yeah. So it's all crammed in there. I don't know that I would do it that way. I definitely prefer that orientation.
Can you let me in just so I can see it?
Sure.
Got it. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
The question number 1. Done.
What's that?
Question number 1, done.
Done. Yeah, no, most of my other questions and thoughts are not really going to be related to anything that deals with this direct experience. So I think either I can make another video for you talking through kind of what I think or had questions about. But I think this was extremely helpful for me in the work that we're going to do.
Nice. Well, then we could probably wrap this up. and connect and do our thing afterwards. But yeah, thanks for giving me that opportunity to just talk it through. I do it all the time, but it's usually in 2 minutes on a feature like this or 2 minutes on that. I don't actually get to try to the long format. So that was even just useful for me as well. So awesome.
Super cool. Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Have a good one, eh? See ya.
Are we ending the call, or are we going to stay on for a minute?
So we're gonna drop off. We're gonna let the podcast do its thing with a little outplay music, and then you and I will come back, and the world will continue to exist without us. Okay. That's how it works. See you soon.
Cool.
Bye.